Good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And this is a huge shout out to Ikarima Korana. He is actually a Koisan. I've got a lot of people from the colored community and even the Koisan who follow this channel because they obviously have a huge interest in what's going on in South Africa. And they were the original inhabitants of South Africa. And Ikarima raises a very, very good point. And I'm going to just read to you what he wrote to me because it is so insightful and it's from the Koisan perspective of what's going on in South Africa today. And in particular when it comes to expropriation of land without compensation, where the claim is that the whites dispossessed the black people who never came from South Africa. They were invaders. But let's listen to it from this fellow's point of view. He says, we should never use the term First Nation, but use the term Aboriginal instead, because it gives blacks a door to opening a claim Second Nation, which gives them a legitimate claim to this country, simply because they are from this continent. And that leaves the whites as the only invaders or colonialists, oppressors, and land thieves, as the ANC, EFF, and BLF call them, or label them. That gives the EFF and BLF the firepower to call them as such in the media, and in their gathering, meeting, and in conferences, when we all know that the Ngunis, Bantus, blacks, or Africans were the first colonialists, oppressors, land thieves, way before the Europeans set foot on this continent. Not in terms of the South African history, but beyond the borders of this country. As we all know, the original territory of the First Nation Aboriginal people, namely the Khoisan, the San, the Korana, and the Nama, was not defined as only South Africa, but also Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Namibia, right up to Angola, and Ethiopia included. So if you look today at the African continent map, it shows that the blacks is the first colonialists and not the whites when it comes to my people's history. And they want this country too, simply because this continent with its country has wrong names. Because this continent was named Africa, and this country was named South Africa by Europeans, not by black people, not by indigenous people. Now black people claim it as their continent and it's their country, based on the names given by Europeans. When the Khoisan, the San, the Korana, and the Nama people existed way before the Africans. Black people, Ngunis and Bantus, which means they sit with stolen, dispossessed territories. Basically, the BLF and the ANC and the EFF claims are all bullshit, scientifically false, invalid, unlawful, and racist too. Most importantly, the Khoisan, the San, the Korana, the Nama people are not black, nor are they Africans. Now, that's a hugely important point because, you know, when you've got Julius Malema jumping up and down in front of the crowd and saying, oh yeah, you know, the Koisan are black people. We're all black people. We're all indigenous to this country. That's bullshit. He's just, like the chameleon he is, he's just trying to change the spectrum to suit his narrative, which is expropriation of land without compensation, on the basis that the land was stolen from his people, including the Khoi and the San, which is crap. If you knew how the Khoisan people were being treated by the ANC and by the EFF and other parties, it would make your hair stand up on end. They really don't give a flying F about the original landowners. They're only doing this for their own black privilege, for their own benefit. And as soon as that all happens, they'll push these original landowners back to the side again. You know, it is just so clearly obvious. Now, let's continue with the story. There was a small country north of this continent with the name Africa, and today the entire continent is called Africa. But Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the other Arab countries don't refer to themselves as Africans. Why is that? If they are not Africans, why should we call ourselves as such when my foreparents were never Africans or black people? That makes us not Africans and not black, not foreigners, but indeed Aboriginal, indigenous. They were still busy with the act of 10 stages of genocide, colonialism, and forced assimilation process. So there you go. That's a very, very insightful perspective. And thank you so much for Ikarim Korana for your input. Very, very to the point. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video and have a safe day.